Hey investors, this is Doug Ehrman, contributor here at Seeking Alpha, talking to you today about the potential of a new smartwatch from Google. The blogosphere is buzzing with rumors that Google may announce the release of its own smartwatch by the end of October. The question for investors and shareholders, however, is will it matter and should you care? Well, if we take our cues from the recent release of Samsung's Galaxy Gear smartwatch, the answer would be no. In reviewing that product, David Pogue of the New York Times said, and I quote, "Nobody can use this thing," citing a clunky user interface and complaining that the device really isn't powerful enough by itself to be of any use and requires the purchase of an already expensive Galaxy smartphone from Samsung in order to have any practical use at all. Keeping this in mind, however, rumors that Apple is continuing to work to develop an iWatch have persisted, leading one to wonder if the problem with the Samsung Galaxy Gear is that it's simply an early version where all the bugs haven't been worked out, or whether in fact the smartwatch really is a concept that will never come into its own. Clearly, the area of wearable technology is here to stay, as simple devices like the Nike Fuel Band and other band-type devices have gotten great reception by consumers, but whether or not the smartwatch can be perfected remains to be seen. So the question for Google shareholders again is what should you do and should you care? Well, what I would recommend is watching sales of the Galaxy Gear Watch to see how that device does, particularly if Google goes ahead and announces that it will be rolling out its own smartwatch by the end of October or after. I think that an announcement alone could be a positive catalyst for the stock, which is traded down to $850 as of this recording, and Google stock remains strong. The positive catalyst could simply be calling additional attention to Google's efforts to bring its own hardware to market and to bring its own smartphones to market. And if the wearable technology in the form of a smartwatch catches on, then Google is well positioned to compete directly with Samsung and ultimately with Apple should it bring an iWatch to the market. Regardless of what happens with the Google smartwatch, I'm a buyer of Google stock on this recent pullback because I think Google remains the king of tech and is well positioned to perform going forward. While the stock trades at a slightly higher P than many of its peers, I think this can be justified by all of the positive things that Google is doing. Ultimately, I like Google stock regardless of the smartwatch, and I'd be a buyer here. Thanks for listening.